Paul, you're going to have to tell us, is it worth it?
You know, I think for most advertisers, it's worth it. If you're a big brand advertiser, whether you're an auto company or you're a beer company, you have to have your brand out there in the biggest venues. And of course, the Super Bowl is the biggest of all venues. So I think that's more about branding. And then every year we seem to have some of these tech companies or companies that just come out of nowhere and they really try to break through the clutter and they blow their entire marketing budget on one 30-second spot and hope of hitting a home run. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So for a lot of people, even in this digital world where there's a gajillion places to put your ads, the Super Bowl still works for a lot of people.
So Jason, as we said, you had 4 ads on.
Yeah.
It's got to be a record for 4 ads. But would there ever be a client who come in and you say, you know what, it's not actually worth your money?
Ooh.
No. Well, okay.
No.
First of all, thinking about the long tail of media today and just how much media there is, we were just talking about that. The Super Bowl is unique, and I do think it is worth it. And everyone's going to go, well, you get 120 million people sitting there and watching. Yes, you do. You also get them anticipating, talking, looking, wanting the ads. Everyone watches the Super Bowl once. They'll watch the advertising 3 or 4 times.
This is one of yours we're seeing right now, actually.
Yeah, Not Backing Down by Budweiser.
All right, beautiful ad, but tell us truly, does this sell more beer, or is it Peyton Manning saying, I'm going to thank God and drink some Bud?
Well, I like Peyton Manning saying
Yeah,
There you do.
it's the new going to Disney World, I feel like.
Right,
yeah, it does. I mean, this is about Budweiser coming out and saying we care about the beer that we brew. We care about how it gets to you. We care about the entire ecosystem of Budweiser, and we're going to come out. We're going to proudly say that. In a time in America when I quite frankly think it's become easy not to care. So this is about setting an example. It gets, I think, the wholesaling system, the distributors, really fired up, and it does great things for the brand. We see it happen. We see it happen in Twitter sphere. We see it happen.
But Jason, take us behind the curtain a little bit. As I looked at these 2 Budweiser ads, both of which are very powerful. The other was Helen Mirren.
I loved Helen Mirren.
It's a wonderful lecture about not drinking and driving.
Absolutely.
One of these looks to me like it skews male, the one we just saw, and the other strikes me would skew female.
Well, that's a journalist, as an analyst.
Well, therefore could be well wrong. Yeah.
Well, it's not what we intended. So it's not what we intended. We say this Bud's for you. The first thing we're going to talk about is who Bud is. The next thing we're going to talk about is who you are and how we care about you. So I think the boldness of putting a message like Helen Mirren on the Super Bowl and talking to people. We're trying to end drunk driving. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay. Budweiser, clearly Budweiser, the Super Bowl, they're connected. And Bud, they've got the dollars. But for companies to blow their marketing wad, Marmot, selling me a jacket during the warmest winter ever, why does it make sense from a marketing perspective to spend that kind of dough?
I think they showed up to a party that they can't afford to be at, probably.
When you do that, it rarely ends out well for you. The hot girl still doesn't go home with you.
But that might be an example of a client that you would say, it's just not worth the money.
I don't think it is.
For you.
And in the type of person who they're selling to, which is not a mass audience. Right. Obviously, it's not all of America. It's an outdoor enthusiast, probably. I think there are much better, smarter channels to go into and have a message like that.
I think that takes you to constipation. The pharma company showing up last night makes no sense.
For people who used opioids, and I was saying, how many of the 125 million people are on the opioids? There are a lot more people than I knew.
Yeah, I think it's a big mistake to be talking about that sort of subject in the Super Bowl. They blew their money. To your point, they have lots of it to blow,
they can afford
but they did.
They can afford it. Yep.
And the Super Bowl is an entertainment platform, and it's not entertaining to watch that. Let's just be honest. It's actually annoying.
Okay, Jason Deland of Anomaly, thank you very much for being